Every lottery ticket purchase keeps education in our state moving forward. In fact, the lottery has raised more than $200 million for state school buses to get our students to school safely every day. Then, the lottery helps those students go even further in their education by funding the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. So remember, when you play the lottery, you're keeping South Carolina students on the road to success. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, iHeart listener. We have a confession to make. Both iHeart and this commercial you're listening to right now would probably sound a heck of a lot better on the new Roku Pro Series TV. It's got side-firing speakers that fill your room with sound, Dolby Atmos audio that puts you right in the middle of the entertainment, and the ability to pair seamlessly with your home theater sound systems that already have surround sound and booming bass. If all that sounds too good to be true, it'll sound even better on the new Roku Pro Series. Your hearing isn't better, your TV is.
Boy, Heinzie's loud out there, Russo Radio.
Man, yeah, he is, and it's so funny. I just said to Joe Smith when I got here, I said, if I don't see Marco Rossi on the top line today, we got to ask some tough questions to Hines, because this all started when Eric Sinek was put back on the top line, and it just seems like right now Rossi needs to be there, and Rossi is. So here we go with line rushes.
Yeah, help 9 to noon with that. I mean, we know what to look for. We know who Marco Rossi is. Can't seem to find him now. But like when you quick twitch identify him on the first line,
right?
I mean, you went bam like that. We're still trying to figure out where everybody allegedly on the first line is.
Right.
So like, how do you do that so quickly? Where is he?
Here we go, Declan Chisholm's scratch night. Johnny Merrill's scratch night. So Rossi's on the top line right now with Boldy and Zuccarello. Ogren's with Eric Sinek and Johansson.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay, but why are we focused? Michael Russo, at Russo Hockey via Twitter, covers the Wild in second and unfashioned for The Athletic and TheAthletic.com. Why are we focusing on the first line when we should be focusing on the first two blue line pairings? Because this team never scores.
Yeah.
And we need to be focused on stopping Burns and Aho and Rantanen. So, like, the top two pairings on the blue line actually are the A topic, right?
I don't know. I would go the opposite way. Like I think that they got to score some goals here, and the top line was
okay.
The top two lines were MIA on this road trip, but especially the top line.
So why is it that you were so focused on where Rossi is, because that would lead to tough questions?
Because to me, like when they stopped scoring here, it was when they put Eric Sinek back with Zuccarello and Boldy, and Rossi has been, when this team scored in December and January without Kaprizov, Rossi was a top-line center. And in the game, one of their most impressive wins of the season at Carolina, which is tonight's opponent, last month, Rossi was a top-line center. So that's essentially what I was, really focused on today, because I just feel like it needs to get back to the way it was if you want to spread out some wealth here.
But you said Zuki was with Boldy and who on the top line?
Rossi.
Okay,
but he was with Eck, and Eck has just for some reason hasn't produced.
Right, but John Hines joins 45 minutes from now, so I just want to frame up the question the right way. We chatted with Russo Radio earlier, and he felt
Joe O'Donnell,
when you had Zuki, Boldy, and Ecky on the top line, things went kaput. So he thinks Rossi needs to be on the top line. We saw it in the skate. Did Michael in any way influence your opinion? And good morning.
Feel free.
So I'm trying to formulate this thing the right way.
Yeah, no, feel
the
free
audio home for everything.
Feel free to do it.
Hold on, we have an A topic.
Yep.
M.I. Holmes. MI Homes. Tell us about MI Homes.
Yeah, they're going to be sponsoring my segments coming up on the Fan here in a little bit. In fact, I'm going down to the station today to record some ads and actually live.
You can do those here.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
Make it studio quality.
Tell AJ to send. Yeah.
It gets quiet and the con takes care of it.
So no, I'm excited because I actually live in an MI Homes community. So I'm excited.
You do?
Yeah. Yeah. What are the chances, right?
Okay. Well, MI Homes. Welcome to the Covenant, MI Homes. By the way,
that's awesome.
Welcome to KFAN. Welcome to 9 to Noon. Welcome to Bumper with Barrero.
The letters M.I. Homes.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
And MI Homes providing Russo Radio to KFAN, yours truly, and Bumper with Barrero. But these commercials that you're doing
and maybe Common every now and then.
What?
Maybe Common every now and then.
Right.
Do you write your own scripts?
I gave them a bunch of talking points of the stuff that I love about my house and and the entire process of building my house.
Like the security.
Especially during Dallas, Minnesota series.
And MI Homes to certain home buyers provide 30 ring cams.
Yeah.
At no charge. I got one on the mailbox, one on above the bathroom.
It is funny that you brought up the security because I was thinking today about like how crazy those times were, and if you want to tell people what we're talking about, you can. But so when I had security in front of my,
when the Wild were getting killed by Dallas in the postseason, some Rube or Rubes in Dallas were threatening Michael Russo in more than direct message or social media related ways.
Yeah.
And it actually, as the kids would say, became a thing. People that we know locally who may or may not be higher ups with the law enforcement. They kind of had to get involved in the situation. Then the situation stopped, right?
Yeah.
Crazy. Best way to put it?
Yeah. So one of the things I was thinking about today was so the New York Times, who owns us, hired essentially 24-hour security in front of my house.
Wow.
Because they knew where I lived.
Jeez.
And then
they let Alec Lewis twist in the wind.
And then when you helped me get in touch with the St. Paul police, you know who, and he got Washington County involved, and they were going to do like drive-bys by my house, but all of a sudden I realized I'm covering this game, and all of a sudden I realized that I got security in front of my house, but then I got Washington County police that's going to be doing drive-bys. Like, I don't want a freaking gunfight.
Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden Washington County shows up and wonders why I
that's
got
a bit of a leap.
So
off a social media threat.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a leap that it's going to be OK Corral every single night wherever you live.
Yeah, but I remember trying to get in touch with the Washington County detectives and say, hey, just let you know, I do have somebody in front of my house right now. Just so you know, if you come at like 3 a.m. and you see a guy in a truck outside my house, there you go.
Well,
at least someone was there if you left the coffee pot on or the garage door was left open. You had somebody to help you out with that.
Yeah,
now
what a time.
Subsequently, God has chosen to strengthen the arsenal in case this ever happens again, and here's what I mean. Kevin O'Connell, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. Okay, I've become friends with his father. Of course I have. His name's Bill O'Connell. Okay? Bill O'Connell worked for the FBI in New York City or Philadelphia, but 12 years in New York City. For the FBI, he was part of the group that took down John Gotti.
Wow.
And this gangster, last name Castiglione or something, Paul something like that. Castellano. Thank you. Well done. But Bill, and my daughter is going to graduate from University of Colorado in May and wants to get into the FBI. So therefore, she and Bill been getting to know each other and talk about root stuff like that. But I've learned a lot more of what went into Bill, Kevin's father, and he was the one that listened to the wiretaps and wrote it down. Wow. So even for one sentence, it took 2 hours. Because things were so muddled, Yeah, that was his role in taking down John Gotti. So I'm going to say it right now on radio. Dallas Rube. You may have seen it on the set list. I forgot to put out there on Twitter at PA on the mic. You may see it. You may know who he is. Here, kitty. Come on in. The water's warm. We know exactly what to do right now with the old FBI on your doorstep taking you down.
One reason why I want the NHL to go back to 1 verse 8 is that I think, at least as of yesterday
the words
or 2
verses,
days ago.
Don't start that.
So, I would love, right now, the Wild, I think, would play Vegas in the first round, but in this stupid playoff format that the NHL has, where the Wild are every single year going to have to play Dallas, Colorado, or Winnipeg in the first round, that Anthony LaPanta loves, by the way.
And they're on track to doing it again.
Yeah, right now they're going to play Dallas, and so I'm really looking forward to that.
Because right now, Avs, who, and maybe I'm wrong in this, was this a concession move by the Avs to get rid of Rantanen the way that they did, or is it just looking ahead, future cap, we still think that we can make a run with our current group?
Yeah, I mean,
he won nipping at the heels right now, the Wild.
He wanted to be the highest paid winger in the NHL. That would probably be, a little higher definitely higher than Panarin, maybe higher than McKinnon.
What about Zuki?
Rantanen says that he would have definitely taken way less than his market value that he would have gotten on the open market. And by the way, this is all temporary until the Wild re-sign Kaprizov and give him 15 and make him the highest paid winger.
Well, that's if they re-sign him, and we'll get into that momentarily.
But, to me, I think that they were looking at their internal cap structure and the fact that they're going to have to give Cale Makar a bag of cash in a couple of years, as soon as next summer, I believe. His agent is Brock Faber's agent, Makar's agent, and he got Faber 8.5. So what do you think that Makar's going to get? So I think that's part of it, is that they know that they might have an internal cap structure on nobody could be higher than McKinnon now, but Makar will be. And I think that they just decided that it was time to cut bait and try to get a couple good players for him. But they didn't want to wait. They didn't want to risk that he got hurt in the Four Nations, and they didn't want to wait till closer to the trade deadline where their leverage would be a little less. So they decided to move it right now.
So is there any steam behind the idea of, like, okay, at one point we loved the division competition because we wanted ratings, we wanted to push interest, we wanted to kind of force rivalry and some vitriol into the postseason? Is there any steam behind the idea of just going top 8? And
no, Gary Bettman is
Dallas.
The one that,
it is then.
Yep.
For the rest of our lives.
Yeah, Gary. This is interesting. Hines and Merrill are having a pretty animated conversation here. I think Merrill's
right. But that happened 2 Voxes in the boxes ago.
Yeah,
Merrill, but it wasn't Heinze.
Yeah.
It was unsub looking guy. The guy who looks like they were chasing him in Criminal Minds and finally found him on the dock.
I think Merrill is
Paul Maurice.
No, the
I
guy
think he's coaching elsewhere.
Hey, Paul Maurice's Criminal Minds related unsub surrogate.
Yeah.
No, they were having a conversation like a month ago, 3 weeks ago when we were here.
Yeah.
After the skate, so John knew he was down.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, John didn't like it. Okay. It was like he just found out. Well, they're having that same kind of conversation now, but now it's Heinze and Merrill off to the side.
Yeah,
everybody else is going through the morning skate.
Well, Merrill, you can tell that Merrill is not happy.
Like I set the scene here, it's radio, and then I'll be the Vox, you be the analyst, and you'll have plenty of opportunity to step on the touchdown call. Merrill and John Hines are between the red line and the blue line, and having an animated conversation about something, and Heinze just spoke up a little bit. Now Merrill's like stating his case about something.
Yeah.
Take us through what's happening right now, Russo Radio.
Well, as I tweeted about 5 minutes ago, Merrill's not playing tonight.
Well, how do you know that?
Just watching the defense pairs. Chisholm was...
Thanks for tweeting in the middle of our segment and conversation, Mr. Russo.
Well, I said that on the air that Chisholm was playing over Merrill. But anyway, so Merrill is clearly not happy. But this is the most I've ever seen a player state his case, at least when I see it. That's pretty interesting.
Hines is a pretty approachable guy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when you watch something like that, it kind of tells you that, maybe philosophically his door's open. Like, Merrill's chewing on him a little bit. Like, hey, I want to be in the mix, and I'm not. Like, Hines, you look at him as being kind of an approachable guy that, can have these sorts of conversations, brush it off, and move on.
Yeah, I don't know. This is fascinating to watch, though.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, because John now is receptive. And guess what? In that spot, with Broads having just returned, this for John Merrill, with all due respect, it might need to be, yes, Heinze, 3 bags full. Yes, Heinze, have you any wool? You know what I'm saying? Just acquiesce, give in to the coach, and then come out with fire the next time you get the opportunity to play, which may be March.
Yeah. Wow, this is really cool, though.
Well, John Hines joins 9 to noon, 40 minutes from now. It goes right to the top of the list.
Yeah.
Right
after me saying that
first line question.
No, I think we're.
What were we talking about? I'm
going to ask Coach Hines if he's ever had a stalker, and if he ever needed Edina police to help him get out of it, even if it was somebody in Dallas. M.I. Homes, welcome to the Covenant. That's what you get. Russo's a building block, and we're building it from the studs right now with Carolina in town this evening. Now, the low-scoring tilt coming tonight, right? Kane's always playing low-scoring games.
Yeah, and
Wild can't score. Hines is pissed off. I mean, this sucker feels like 2-0 somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that game in Carolina was, I think Carolina is going to come out ready to play tonight because, and I wrote it when we were in Raleigh, early January. That was as angry as we've seen that I've been told that Rod Brindamore has been all season long with his team. He did not like the way that they played that night against Minnesota, the lack of energy, and so I think that he's going to remind them of that today.
You see Hines tap his chest like that's my call.
Yeah.
That's my call.
Yeah, no, he is. He's ticked.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, this is crazy.
But so with Merrill down, like who will be playing, or maybe John in private fashion is like, John, coach. Yeah. I mean, seriously, like nobody can hear us now. That guy sucks. You know I'm better than him. I mean that could be happening right now. Like who's the guy?
I'll be honest. Like I didn't watch a lot of the Boston and Ottawa games. Like where I was watching.
Sarah
like,
watched them all.
Yeah. Like if I was in the building, it's hard to see. But the way they're also talking is that there's a couple plays clearly that John's trying to coach him on what he should have done. Mm-hmm. What's really interesting here is that John Merrill has been somebody that Hines has been talking up for 2 months. Almost to the point that I've been joking that it's like, man, it's like the way that
they're done and they didn't say bye.
Yeah, the way that that he's been talking up, it's almost like he's trying to,
it's like a marriage.
It's like he was encouraging him a little bit with the glove bump to the chest. Like, let's go, buddy.
Yeah, I still love you.
So
let's forget everything we said. And when I get back from work, we'll just pretend like it didn't happen.
But he clearly was trying to coach him on a couple plays that he probably didn't like.
Yeah. Okay. Russo Radio. M.I. Holmes. Don't know. M.I. or my?
M.I.
Yeah. M.I. Don't know if you're in the mix yet, but welcome to the Covenant, and that's how we operate 9 to noon. Now, where do we want to go here in short time? Oh yeah, Kaprizov. The Kaprizov and the cap piece you wrote with Joe. You wrote at The Athletic. Mm-hmm. All right. The Athletic. TheAthletic.com. So did the owner basically say, quote, paraphrasing, not sure Kaprizov will want to play here, but nobody will pay him more, end quote. That if I'm accurate with the way I read that, that was mildly jarring, or am I overstating it?
So at the beginning of the year...
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, Joe and I talked with Craig Leopold, and he basically said that...
Bro, that's a quote from 4 months ago? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
So in there is that he basically said, am I convinced that he's going to want to play here? No, but nobody's going to pay him more.
Right.
So that's
essentially I conveyed it perfectly.
Yeah. But he didn't say...
Nope.
I can't remember exactly
exactly what you just said. That was the quote. Well, what am I missing?
No, the way you read it was a little...
Who wrote it?
Huh?
Yeah, which one of you two wrote it? Are we even talking to the right person?
That was me.
Can we get Joel on the hotline here and clear this up?
Was this quote taken when Arif Hassan was still on the payroll? I mean, seriously.
Joe is down there.
Like Chad Graff gets a quote, leaves for Foxborough.
Yeah. So basically,
unbelievable.
But his point is that at 8 years that they can offer him more money than anybody, just based on what another team would have to offer him at 7 years.
Yeah.
Oh. So that's his point. And I really genuinely think that and I could be wrong, I'm more confident than ever that Kirill's going to resign. I think he does genuinely love it here. That's what I'm told from the people who are tight with him. And the other thing that I personally think is I think this injury also is going to tell Kirill that he can't play games this summer. So in other words, when the Wild throw $120 million at him this summer, are you really going to risk saying, no, we'll wait till after the season and I'm either going to test the open market or we'll revisit this when you've just had this major injury, you've had 3 years in a row of injuries, and, what if this happens again? So I think when you're given life-changing money right on the table and you could sign it that minute,
he makes life-changing money right now.
Exactly, I get it, but 120 mil is 120 mil.
I understand.
And, John Klingberg turned down 8 times 8 once, and he's not even going to get close to that back just because he played games in. I
understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
Dallas. And yes,
Dallas.
And I would absolutely yield to your elite hockey mind discernment here because nothing is concrete or sure. That's your discernment. Yep. You're very good at what you do. However, so if Kaprizov gets like 20% of the salary cap, well, how does one fortify a village?
Yeah.
Well, that's a serious question.
If Kirill wants to win, he can't take 20%. I mean, I'm doing this agent poll, and one of our questions that I'm asking, I'm doing it with James Myrtle, and I've talked to about 30 agents for this. And one of the questions is, what should Connor McDavid make on his next contract, which coincidentally is the same timing as Kirill Kaprizov, and every one of them is like, well, he should make 20%. But he's not going to make 20%. And I talked to one of actually Connor's agents last time, and he told me a story where the night before they were going to do Connor McDavid's contract the last time, he actually called up his agents and basically shaved millions off of it because he wanted to have a team that they'd be able to build around.
Wow,
so
that's
beautiful. I think Kirill's got to be the same way. $15 million, if he gets that, is a lot of money.
Yes.
You don't need to make 20.8.
With the economy in Russia right now, you get 1.7 million. It feels like 100 million.
Plus, he's going to probably retire in Florida like all the Russians do. And so,
it's Florida, not Florida.
Yep.
Are we an older team, Russo?
I mean, they're a mix of both. I mean, they look older just because you add Fleury's number on there. But I think actually one of the cool parts of the Wild is that you have these 23-year-olds that are sort of growing together. The Fabers,
but that helps with the 20% then. I mean, that helps when you're thinking about how you're going to pay. Like, we need these Rossies. We need these guys.
And they're going to need to get paid at some point. And so I think that Kirill's going to understand that.
Maybe John Merrill was casting his gaze the way of Z Boyum joining the team.
Yep.
And maybe he's starting to hey, look, this is happening now. And we know Zeev's going to be here eventually. I mean, can you just trade me?
Yeah.
So maybe he just asked for a trade right before our very ears.
Is that inevitable this spring, Russo?
Think about it.
Zeev, Boyum, and maybe Danila Yurov, are both of those guys set to join this team?
I don't think, unless the Wild go on a long run, I don't think Yurov, because first of all, his contract ends May 30th or May 30th, and so you'd have to do what you did with Husadinov and figure out a way to get out of his contract.
Hartsey gets to skate with the team?
What's that?
Hartsey gets to skate with the team?
Yeah, Hartsey skates with the team.
Oh, geez.
He's going to get bag skated to death. But
I know, but when does the 10-gamer start, tonight?
No, it started last game.
Oh, so we got 9 to go?
But
yeah,
he's
9 to go, but he's appealing,
right?
Yep. And,
are they loving the Four Nations Cup so they can try and get their way through an arbitrator?
Yeah, that's his hope. Yep.
Well, I was trying to figure out who 38 was and why it was so fast, but when you take all that cash out of one's pocket, they're probably going to fly up and down the ice.
It's a little bit lighter today.
It's like $500,000. I mean, what we are looking at right now, ladies and gentlemen, is somebody who lost nearly $500,000 in income simply by going pear-shaped. I mean, why? I know we have the code of hockey and, this guy did this and this guy did that, so I got to get back. Why did he do what he did?
Yeah, I mean, he just runs hot. He was in a jawing match all period long with the referee, Garrett Rank. Garrett tried to, the way that I understand it is Garrett tried to get in between Ryan and Travis Hamanic, who played Hartman like a fiddle the other day. And that's what I think Ryan needs to work on, is that I think other players and referees recognize how to get him off his game. And clearly, Hamanic did a great job of doing that. And then you have the Stützle situation. And again, Ryan needs to be, to me, what happened there on the dive is that Ryan and the referee, Garrett Rank, got into a huge jawing match right before. So then now Ryan's on fire. He gets into it with Stützle. Stützle two-hands him. He gets called for an embellishment by a referee that
two hands crossed, like cross-check?
Yep. I don't think he dove at all.
All right.
And next thing I know, where Ryan really wasn't smart is on the final face-off of the second period, he goes in there to take the draw. Well, Ottawa puts Stützle's line out there. Stützle goes up against Ryan. Well, the referee, who's been fighting with Ryan all period, also knows that he's upset about the embellishment. So he is watching Ryan like a hawk there, and in real time recognized what Ryan did. And
did you write about all this? You didn't, because I have all your albums. This is unbelievable what you're sharing right now. Keep going.
Yeah, so it's just it wasn't a bright move by Ryan, and it's put the team in a crazy bind here. I think 10 games is a little more than I thought he'd get. I knew he'd get it in person. I even predicted it that night that this happened. But I thought it'd be 6 or 7. To give him 10, I think they used that Alex Burrows situation with Taylor Hall years ago as sort of their template for that. And now Ryan will, generally when you appeal, it goes to Bettman. He usually upholds, and it goes to an arbitrator. This is if you get 6 or more games. Generally what happens is by the time it gets to the arbitrator, your suspension is pretty much lapsed and you're just trying to get money back. But in this situation, if he gets some games trimmed back, not only would he get money back, but there should be plenty of time for him to get back in the lineup just because of the 4 nations stopping the league for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So
last one, you want it?
Yeah, just in terms, we know Kaprizov's on the shelf. I get that, and the suspension to Hartman. But other than that, like Brodin and Johansson came back. How did they look? Are we starting to slowly see, again, save for the guy that most people consider matters more than most or all, are we healthy? Do we feel healthy?
No? Lauko's now out for who knows how long. He's had a recurrence of
They
his
need
injury.
the break.
This just won't stop.
Yeah, and then obviously Kaprizov's out, Hartman's out. But, every time they get – I've never seen a season like this where every time they get somebody back,
it's crazy.
Somebody else goes down. So they got 2 games left to try to get through this. They got to win some games. They've lost 9 of 13 at home, 4 in a row. I've never seen them get killed as much as they had last year. 12 of their 19 regulation losses are by 3 or more goals. It's crazy. They've lost by 6 goals twice, 5 goals 3 times, 4 goals 3 times. They have had some unreal clunkers this season. And for a team that up until mid-December was the number 1 team in the NHL, hovering around there with Washington, it's just really remarkable how many bad losses they've had this year.
Isn't it crazy, too? 17 of the final 28 are at home.
Yeah, so they better figure this out.
In any other season, Russo, when we're sitting up here doing Vox in the Box, it's like this team is poised to be a chart riser, right? To dominate at home and find themselves in a good spot where they're either hosting Dallas or they can get out of that nasty little divisional collision bit.
Yeah.
But they can't figure it out in front of their own fans.
No, it's not good. And I think I said this to you or Barrero recently. I feel bad for these fans. They pay a lot of money to come and watch entertainment, and not only having these
Don't
games,
feel
not
bad
only
for
having,
them. Don't
but
feel
not
bad.
only having they
it's
won
their
at
choice
home,
to pay the money.
But not only
it
having,
is.
all right, but they also you come with some sort of expectation to see a victory every now and then. And
Well, they've seen 11.
and they've.
They have. What am I missing here?
And they've seen a lot of 5-goal losses.
Yeah.
So
hey,
I don't know.
Are you working? Give me 30 seconds on this. You working on any whoppers for the Athletic?
I'm doing a big Jack Eichel story for the 4 Nations. So I leave Sunday for 13 days. I'm with Pierre LeBrun and Chris Johnson, 2 of our other national writers. We're covering the 4 Nations.
Oh yeah. You got a good seat at is it
Bell Center and TD Garden? So we're all of us.
Joe's going too?
No. Pierre LeBrun, Chris Johnston, and then Fluto, who's our Boston writer, and Arpon, who's our Montreal writer. We're all 5 covering it. So we'll be 7 days in Montreal and 5 days in Boston.
How loudly do you think they're going to boo the anthem? In the Ottawa game,
I don't know.
I'm listening on radio when I'm
the
driving.
tariffs have been relaxed, right? So maybe that'll change things.
Yeah,
Who
I could
knows?
hear it a little bit wild at Ottawa. But wasn't super vociferous.
Yeah.
Were you there? Of course you
no,
weren't.
I
No,
wasn't.
you were in Atlanta chasing Mumford and Sons or whatever.
Trampled by turtles.
They're like a Mumford. Is it Mumford and Sons?
Yeah,
That's a thing, yeah.
Yeah, they kind of line up that way and play the old banjo and the fiddle and the washboard. Yeah, they do a good job.
But
Sarah was in Montreal.
Is there a jug?
There's a jug.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
there's a jug. They're blowing into the jug.
Well, Mungo Jerry.
Understanding tariffs is way above my intelligence level, but I did joke with Chris Johnston and Pierre LeBrun, who are 2 of our Canadian writers, and I was wondering if they were going to be able to expense the tariffs that they'd have to pay at the border to get to Boston for that part of it. But
it'll get figured out.
But it's been suspended, right, for 30 days. So
All
maybe
right.
that'll stop the booing.
Well, we will chat soon, sometime. Feb 1-5, USA and Canada, day after Valentine's Day. That'll be sweet.
Yeah.
M.I. Holmes. Thank you, M.I. Holmes. Welcome to the Covenant, and you'll hear much more about them from yours truly, Michael Russo, and Dan Barrero in the coming days. Have a good day.
Yep.
That's Russo Radio. Michael Russo. John Hines, coach of the Minnesota Wild, joins 9 to noon from Tria Rink. And a Vox in the Box about 30 minutes from now. But first, we have Brett Blakemore guiding the great ship Love Covenant. back at KFAN, your audio home for everything funky and fun. And he has some money to give away. Good morning.
I do. Grain in Your Hand is back on KFAN. We have 9 chances for you to win $1,000 every weekday. That's every hour from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., including this hour right now. To enter keywords, go to KFAN.com. Keyword for this hour is grand. The keyword is grand. Head to KFAN.com. Enter the keyword grand.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Wild Wednesday is sponsored by Jim Beam, the official bourbon of the Minnesota Wild. Are here all season long. Listen every Wednesday through March for a chance to win tickets.
Welcome back. Hanging out at Tria here in St. Paul as morning skate is concluding. Head coach John Hines, after everything gets put away,
including John Merrill,
will be joining. Yes, correct. As soon as that kerfuffle finally ends, he's going to be joining PA at 11 o'clock. Alex Stalock, it sounds like, is going to hang out with us at 11:15.
Just quickly to lay the groundwork for what we are watching at Tria Rink. So Ryan Hartman, who has 9 games left on his suspension, he's skating with he's as tired as I've ever seen a human being.
Yeah.
Right now, they have skated him and worked him from a conditioning standpoint because you got this break coming up so hard. Wow, look at my man down there.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit like the professional version of said bag skate, where he's just out here on the absolute grind, and he's got to feel the burn a little bit, right? Like
that's $500,000.
Well, you root for Ryan Hartman. You root for the guy, and he's a part of the team, and we want to see him doing well in our colors and all of that. But when he is, as Russo said, he runs hot, and he does what he did the other night, like. He's got to feel that burn a little bit. Now, his wallet's going to feel that burn. There's no doubt about it. But for a team right now that has struggled the way they have from a health standpoint, and then you have to deal with something like this on top of it, like that's absolutely a pain-in-the-ass situation.
But then think of the, no matter what happened, whose fault it was, how much it cost, how long he's going to be gone.
Yeah.
Okay, just put that off to the side because it's defining itself. It's the man in front of us right now. Had one of 2 ways to go today. He could either be at the glitzy St. Paul Hotel in a room by himself, chilling, room service, relax, kicking up your legs, flipping through TV channels, then come back to the rink to play, or playing hockey catch with Travis Dermott. Which he's doing now. It's like Travis Dermott is skating in circles and hitting Hartsey with what would be one-timers. I mean, so that's like an underrated, and Hartman's tired. I mean, because they just skated him up and down the rink like he's Secretariat getting ready for the Triple Crown. So you either got the St. Paul Hotel, and lobster, shrimp cocktail, and scampi and/or oysters delivered to your room for a snack.
Oh, that sounds
or
amazing.
playing puck catch with Travis Dermott.
Well, I mean,
nobody else is out there right now. They're making you pay.
Is the room getting unused? And I mean, do they have early check-in? Because I mean, we ended 11:54.
Oh.
No, I mean, in
put
the
that
end,
in Mr. Leopold's bill. I'm not talking about Jordan either.
Yeah, preferable with the robe and potentially some slippers.
The robe.
That would be preferred.
Yes.
Climate-controlled room. It's a little warmer there. I mean, just think about the chill. Maybe there's a fireplace situation involved. Or playing catch on the ice effectively with Travis Dermott.
Have
no
a massage lady
Dermott.
come up to your room, and then all of a sudden that's going to change your life for about
Yeah.
We'll stop right there.
Yeah, I'm kidding. I'd be curious if that market changes, given some of the things that we've been hearing in recent weeks, as we did hear several years ago as well. Yeah, tough situation for him, but he earned it. He's in that spot, so he's got to own it.
Let's do this. Let's get caught up. And coming up around the corner, what do you have up your sleeve?
Yeah, well, I do want to switch to the NFL again before the final hour is hockey heavy. Honors banquet tonight, and not only are we going to hear potentially the 2025 Hall of Fame class, not potentially, I believe it's announced tonight, up to five.
Yep.
But we're going to hear Coach of the Year awards, and we've gone back and forth on this over the course of the 2024. And it feels like a two-horse race. I know Dan Quinn's name will be mentioned, Sean Payton. We can talk about all that around the corner, but I do want to dive back into the NFL and some of those talkers that weave our way to the final stretch.
Yeah, I think O'Connell wins tonight. I think he wins Associated Press Coach of the Year. Spearfish sent me a list of all-time Associated Press Coaches of the Year. I forgot to look at it. Sorry about that, Sammy. Trying to figure out when's the last time we had an Associated Press Coach of the Year. So we'll do that during the break, and we'll be back to Tria Rink with John Hines, coach of the Minnesota Wild, joining us 20 minutes from now on KFAN.
How to have fun, anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Comedy sensation Daniel Tosh is bringing his hilarious stand-up show to the Twin Cities. Don't miss your chance to see him live June 19th at the State Theater. Tickets on sale now. Full details, KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Yeah, let's start with Coach of the Year then. So the odds-on favorite, the favorites over the course of the season, PA, it's been a two-horse race. It's been Dan Campbell, and it's been Kevin O'Connell. And I felt, as we were ushering our way to that regular season finale, I thought it was Kevin O'Connell's. I'm fighting it, because I think all variables involved, from the quarterback situation and what you were expecting versus what you got, and Kevin O'Connell's ability to pull that out of Sam Darnold over the course of the year. I think he is the coach of the year.
Yeah.
But there is also an element here with Dan Campbell in particular that the expectations were super high. The injury situation and the laundry list there was indeed a mile long. And they did absolutely thump the Vikings in that regular season finale. So I've been sitting here with this teeter-totter of sorts, rooting for KO, of course. I believe he is indeed, despite that regular season finale. I think he should be the coach of the year. But I just wonder, given that, and the Rams game and the playoffs, they voted just right after that regular season finale. How bad that was. I know the taste in my mouth from that game. It's not good. How bad that taste was left with the voting public, who ultimately decide this Coach of the Year fate this evening. And it makes me lean towards Dan Campbell. It makes me lean that direction. Because ultimately, again, and Florio's been on this all year long, as he is every year. The idea that
but he talked out of both sides of his mouth yesterday. Continue.
Well, but that's so it's like it's the coach of the the coach of the year is fraudulent in some respects because it ends up just being the coach that had the best turnaround or the most surprising season, etc. When you see guys like the Andy Reids of the world, Belichick didn't win it as many times as he possibly should have. We've heard that from Florio. I do have to, but Dan Campbell, despite being our division rival, he has absolutely handled everything that came his way this season. They flop in the playoffs against Jaden Daniels. Get that?
Very good point.
But he handled everything that came his way, in your words, with aplomb. And it was so impressive to watch this team actually, in some ways, ramping up.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately it ended with a thud in the divisional round, but they were ramping up despite all of those injuries. They're pulling Jamal Adams off the street.
The
They got
offensive
cornerback
coordinator's
issues.
putting together game plans on Etch-a-Sketch.
Correct.
Because his door's closed trying to get the Bears job, and Campbell had to overcome that.
But they're clowning on people offensively. No Montgomery. You just get more out of Jahmyr Gibbs. So you have the talent and the expectations associated with it.
Yeah.
But in a lot of cases, unless you're truly that dynastic juggernaut of sorts like a Chiefs or in this case now an Eagles as we watch them on Sunday, you don't always get the results of the expectations. And this is a team that has a mountainous load of mediocrity dumped on their shoulders, and they've carried that like a badge of honor. Like, that's over.
Vikings or Lions?
And here we are. The Lions. Vikings certainly in some respects playoff history-wise.
Yeah.
But it felt
the
like
Lions too.
It felt like Dan Campbell and the momentum that he had at the beginning of the season. You meet adversity by way first. Aiden Hutchinson was the first one to go down. Marcus Davenport. They didn't learn from us. They took a chance and it didn't work out. All those injuries that would follow, they still found their way to the top of the NFC North. And so I'm just curious if the red zone situation, you're 0-4 in the red zone, you're 0-3 in goal-to-go situations, you miss a bunch of guys in the end zone, you get absolutely walloped with everything on the line in the regular season under the bright lights. Did that do enough negatively for KO to take away the nothing short of remarkable season he had coaching Sam Darnold to a 14-win operation?
Wow, that's a lot. Well, let's unpack it from where it was, say, middle-ish of the season. Okay, so, and I go back to...
Post-Rams game, maybe, or in that area?
I don't know. I go back to, betting lines and movement at times simply because it can be a barometer. It can be a precursor.
Yeah, it can.
It can be a harbinger for things to come. Even though past performances are not indicative of future results. All right. So with that known, there was one point that O'Connell was a legitimate long shot to win Coach of the Year. Like 10, 12, 15 to 1. Let's say 12 to 1. Well, then, they're in the middle of that 9 in a row, and it's like 6, 7. Well, then that sucker went down from 12 and 10 to 1.
Yeah.
To even money.
And it flipped hard,
Okay, so he became favored, but not tepidly, not in lukewarm fashion. He went to a prohibitive favorite. Okay, now that doesn't mean because voluminous amounts of money came in worldwide on this individual to win that award with a prop bet that has a limit to the amount of money you can bet in the first place. Okay, so it's not, we're not talking about hundreds of millions of dollars here. But nevertheless, is that just Nordo's in Chaska where it's legal, say, and you're looking to make some money? 200. I'm going to say 250 is the max.
Yeah.
Say 500. Say 2,500 is the max wager. All right. Well, it's my guy. I'm going to bet $1,000 on it. All right. Well, that's part of the get it down to favor. Okay. So all of that happened. Now that's more than just rubes throwing darts. That's people. I'm not saying it's a fixed race, but that's people deducing off what you said, where they came from, what they've done with it, and where it is now per the value of the odds.
Right.
Campbell, stacked team, lost 1 million players. Didn't lose your quarterback. Didn't lose Gibbs. Didn't lose Amon-Ra St. Brown. Look at the schedule, things like that. What you did last year, you're supposed to win 13 or more, really 11 or more no matter what happens. You're supposed to win 8 no matter what happens. Well, now you might win 11, and you faced a little bit of adversity, but that all goes into it.
Yeah.
So, therefore, I felt, like you said, O'Connell was the right choice here pretty much the entire second half of the season for Coach of the Year if you're going to bet it or if you're going to predict it. Now, when you get down to that last game, the one against the Lions where the Vikings got handled, and it was a win. It was an all or nothing for the NFC.
Which, by the way, the coach did everything he could to put our team in a spot to win that game.
Great point.
So if you are digging deep and you got to vote, you got to dig deep. And Kevin O'Connell was throwing darts with that offensive scheme in that finale.
Okay, so I'm not a fan of a body of work being nullified by one game.
Okay.
I'm just not. I mean, yes, it matters. yes, it should. I don't think I'd make it the A topic, but it should definitely be meaty in the conversation here. They both have the same thing in front of them. One's on the road, the other's at home. The other one, does that mean the coach becomes coach of the year off that?
Am I talking out of both sides of
you know
my
what I mean?
mouth? Yes, absolutely.
Well, let me get this out with Florio, both sides of the mouth. So yesterday, Florio's like the award should go to what you said. Somebody who comes from a situation there were minimal or no expectations. They did this. They got there. It ended here. Well, that's O'Connell. So now, but then he said he voted for Campbell.
Yeah.
Florio said he voted for Dan Campbell. Mm-hmm. But he didn't exactly explain why. But he laid it down to that one game situation. Maybe that's how it should go. I just think there's more into it than just a single game.
Well, and
where the coach did, you're right. I mean, it wasn't the head coach who missed 5 touchdown passes in that game. It was the quarterback.
Execute the plan, work the plan. Vikings are 15-2 after that.
Well, now
night.
I'm pissed off.
Yeah, well, so am I speaking out of both sides of my mouth? Where I've talked about this, I believe with Sam Darnold that the 2 final games mean more than the previous. That I put more weight on those, and I've said this to you.
What do you mean?
Well, what I'm doing is I'm trying to compartmentalize it. Where when I'm trying to review Sam's season with the Vikings, and I think about the future, those final 2 games tell me more in the end, I think, than the previous did.
Yeah, I
have to look at it differently with the coach. However,
personally, I would minimize the equation with the Rams game with Darnold.
Okay.
I'd pull back on that. Because there's enough in what did not happen in that Lions game to offset about four things.
That's fair.
I mean, that was absolute stone cold, wonderful protection, people finding their way open.
Yeah.
And not once, not twice, not 3 times. It could be argued 5 times. You were able to 5 or 7 step drop, bounce. There they are. Biggest moment of your life, and you blew it.
Unbelievable.
Now the other game, he's holding it too long, and the thing gets pear-shaped and stuff. But I mean, not all the nine sacks were on him.
No, not all. But 9
I feel
were. But in the end, I'm just leaning your direction when I say that finale can't undo how Kevin O'Connell willed that quarterback and put this team in a spot where they did have everything on the line. And Vegas totals and those things, the 6.5, I kind of moved by that pretty quickly when we're talking about how this season might play out for the Vikings.
Yeah.
But all the same, expectations versus output. I think it should be Kevin O'Connell, but I fear, I'm not afraid of it, but you know what I mean? It's that there are a lot of the Florio mindsets that are going to come in on Dan Campbell tonight.
Right. Heinze, coach of the Minnesota Wild, joins us next.
The lottery is not about getting rich. It's about helping people, and it always has been. The lottery is what helped raise the Great Wall of China, build the roads of Rome, and today, in South Carolina, it's what generates millions of dollars each year for scholarships like the SC Hope, Life, and Palmetto Fellows. The South Carolina Education Lottery is investing in you. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou to learn more.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
Roku has what you need to make your college home away from home feel more like your own. Make your dorm the place to be with Roku TV. Or bring a Roku streaming stick to easily access all your favorite free and premium content like iHeartRadio. Stream your favorite playlist with the Roku Vibe Setting Smart Light strips to sync your music to millions of colors and make your dorm feel more like you. Make your dorm the place to be with Roku TVs, streaming players, and smart lights. Head to Roku.com or your favorite retailer to deck out your dorm.